All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom. The brother Nashan with New Wine Congregation of Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. All right, it's in His Son's name that we do everything that we do. All right, shalom, y'all. Shalom. The brother Nashan with New Wine Congregation of Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. All right, it's in His Son's name that we do everything that we. Salaki had um, a little bit of a technical. Y'all gotta bear with me. I'm still getting the hang of this this platform, this Zoom platform, right? But all praise to the Most High. All right, but yes, in the name of the only begotten Son that we do everything that we do. All right, so let me share the screen real quick, and we'll, Lord willing, get into the lesson. All right, all praises. All right, so today's class is going to be this is the part two of basically, are you a fake friend? All right, this is how to be a good friend. All right, the Most High, all praises, man. He gives us instructions about things that are practical. All right, there are a lot of practical scriptures in the Bible, things that you can apply into your everyday life. Um, and if you read the history, there are a lot of examples in there, right? A lot of examples, right? About how to be a good friend or something that would make you a fake friend. Okay, so we're gonna get started. I'm gonna go to the book of John, chapter 15 and verse 14. All right, the see what the king said. John chapter 15 and verse 14. All right, what does it say here? These are red letters. It say, "Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you." All right, so the people first and foremost that you should have as friends is people who want to keep the commandments. All right, not just somebody just random. Because why? Those people don't have the moral standards that would make a person a good friend. All right, from there, let's go to the book of Psalms. Let's go to Psalms chapter 119 and verse, I want to say it's 63. 63, yeah. Psalms 119 and 63. So the king, he set the standard for what makes a good friend. You got to keep the commandments. All right. Verse 63, it says, I am a companion of all them that fear the Lord and of them that keep thy precepts. So the friends that you want to have are brothers and sisters that fear the Lord, that hate sin. You understand? That keep the precepts. That's what is gonna make somebody a good friend first and foremost, because they're gonna know the wisdom that's in the Bible. All right, let's go to the book of Sirach. Sirach chapter 37 and verse 12. All right. Be continually with a godly man. All right. Be continually with a godly man or sister. It says, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So you want to be a friend to somebody that's gonna be, let's say if thou miscarry, that could be literally if you literally lost a child, but in the sense of they gonna be there for you when you go through something, right? That's what makes a person a good friend. If they there for you when you, it's, yeah, calling each other, checking on each other, that's cool. But so far we reading in the Bible, you want to you establish yourself as a good friend when stuff hit the fan, when it ain't so good for that person that you call your friend, that's when it's your job as a good friend to step up, right, and show what you really made of. All right, let's go to Sirach 6, Sirach chapter 6 and verse 16. It says, a faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear the Lord shall find him. So you being this truth, man, you'll be blessed. If you keep the commandments, you're gonna find some really good friends, man. It may take a while, it may take some trial and error, right? You may go through some bad friendships first, but if you fear the Lord, you will find some faithful friends. You will find some good friends. It says a faithful friend is the medicine of life, meaning what? You can count on a faithful friend to correct you, to rebuke you, to keep you in line with the commandments, right? Let's go to Sirach 22. Sirach 22, and we're going to start at 23. It says, it says, I don't know why I got, okay, yeah. It says, be faithful to thy neighbor in his poverty, that thou mayest rejoice in his prosperity, right? So it say you want to be faithful to your neighbor when they ain't up, when they might be down, when they might be in a lower state, because you never know how to. One thing I'll be 38 years old this year. One thing that I know is them tables, they turn, man. Circumstances change. Yo, what you got going on right now may not be what you got going on 5 years from now or 5 months from now, right? So you want to be faithful to your neighbor in their poverty. Why? That they may rejoice in his prosperity. When that, if you faithful to that brother, why he ain't got nothing, right? The real thing for him to do would be to say, "Dang, man, this brother was with me when I ain't had nothing." Right? I'm up now. I'm a look out for him. I'm a show for show. It ain't so much as that you gotta repay that person, but you're not gonna forget about that person who had your back when you was in a lower state. Right? It said, abide steadfast unto him in the time of his trouble, that thou mayest be heir with him in his heritage. For a mean estate is not always to contend, nor the rich that is foolish to be had in admiration. Right? So you don't want to just pay attention only to what a person got going on right then to determine if you're gonna be faithful to that brother or sister. Right? Let's keep going. I'm gonna jump down to verse 25. It says, I will not be ashamed to defend a friend, neither will I hide myself from him. Man, ain't nothing like having a type of friend that stand up for you when you can't stand up for yourself, right? You might not be somewhere and your friend is there and they hear people plotting on you or talking about you in a slanderous way, and they stand up for you and say, nah, we're not gonna slander this brother name. We're not gonna slander this sister's name. Ain't nothing like that, man. So you don't want to be ashamed of your friend, right? You want to always be willing to stand up for that person, right? Let's go to the book of First Samuel. Let's get some examples. Let's go to First Samuel and let's start at chapter 18 and verse number 1. Let's look at David and Jonathan, right? Beautiful friendship that they had. Right? It says, and it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. So, Salakia, this is an example of two men that loved each other, right? They were good friends. They were best friends. It say Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, meaning they was one and the same. It says, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. It says, and Saul took him that day and would let him go no more home to his father's house. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant because he loved him as his own soul, right? It says, and Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was upon him and gave it to David and his garments, even to his sword and to his bow and to his girdle. Right. So what did Jonathan do, man? Jonathan literally gave David the clothes off of his back. He gave him the clothes off of his back, man. He like, look, man, I ain't finna be fresh. I got all this drip. I'm finna make sure my partner got some drip too. I'm gonna make sure he fresh too. Right? I ain't finna be out here looking good. My partner got holes in his shirt. He ain't got, you know what I'm saying? That's what a real friend would do. And he say, what? He say he gave him his sword. He made sure that he had a means to protect himself, right? That's like you might have a mean you gonna if you a good friend, you're gonna make sure that you love your friend as you love yourself. You wouldn't want to be out here with dirty clothes or raggedy clothes or not have a means to protect yourself. Nah, if you got that in abundance, you're gonna give to your friend. You're gonna make sure that they got that as well, right? So let's jump to chapter 19. So David and Jonathan had a beautiful friendship, man. Beautiful friendship. Chapter 19, and we're gonna start at verse 1. Right? So like y'all gotta hit that cough. It's early. Right? It say, and Saul spake to Jonathan, his son, and to all his servants that they should kill David. Right? So Jonathan hear his daddy saying, look, we're gonna kill this Negro. Right? I'm tired of him. Right? Verse 2. But Jonathan, Saul's son, delighted much in David. We just read that in chapter 18. Jonathan loved David, man. It said, and Jonathan told David, saying Saul, my father, seeketh to kill thee. So Jonathan ain't just hear that and keep it to himself, right? He wasn't ashamed of his friend. He heard what his daddy was trying to do, and he went and told him, hey, my daddy trying to off you, bro. It say, now therefore I pray thee, take heed to thyself until the morning and abide in a secret place and hide thyself. So he say, hey, David, go hide yourself, man. It ain't safe right now. Verse 3, and I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where thou art, and I will commune with my father of thee, and and what I see, I will tell thee. So he said, I'm gonna talk to my dad in the morning, and I'm gonna see where his head at, and I'm gonna let you know. But until then, hide yourself. Right, verse 4, and Jonathan spake good of David unto Saul his father, and said unto him, let not the king sin against his servant, against David, because he have not sinned against thee, and because his works have been to thee were very good. So he telling his dad, he like, look, man, don't kill David. David ain't did that. Remember when David killed Goliath? Remember when he was there for you when nobody else would? Don't kill him, man. Right? Verse 5 say, for he did put his life in his hand and slew the Philistine, and the Lord wrought a great salvation for all Israel. Thou sawest it and didst rejoice. When you needed David and he was there for you, you was happy about David. Right? He said, wherefore then without sin against innocent blood? So why you want to kill him now? To slay David without a cause. And Saul hearkened unto the voice of Jonathan, and Saul swear, as the Lord liveth, he shall not be slain. So what did Jonathan do? He stood up for his friend, right? He didn't just let his friend get killed or thrown under the bus. And that's what we got to do as Israelites, is we all need to be good friends. You understand? If you're going to call somebody your friend, you want to do your best to be a good friend. Stand up for that person. Don't just let them get done any type of way if it can be helped, right? Let's go to chapter 20 and let's go to verse 3. Let's see some more about David and Jonathan. It says, and David sware moreover and said, thy father certainly knoweth that I have found grace in thy eyes. And he said, let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, there is but a step between me and death. So was David like, look, you don't understand. You need to stop talking to your dad about me because he gonna know that you looking out for me if you keep doing this, right? Let's keep going. Verse 4. Then said Jonathan unto David, whatsoever thy soul desire, I will even do it for. He like, man, whatever you need, bro, I'ma do it. You my partner, man. You my brother, right? Whatever you need, I'm gonna do it for you. Right? Let's go. Let's jump down to verse 27. So David trying to warn Jonathan, he ain't being selfish either. He like, look, I know you looking out for me, but I don't want you to put yourself in jeopardy trying to do that. Right. So let's see what happened. Verse 27. And it came to pass on the morrow, which was the second day of the month, that David's place was empty. So they was at the feast day. Right. David was supposed to be there, but he wasn't. And Saul said unto Jonathan, his son, wherefore cometh not the son of Jesse to meet, neither yesterday nor today? So he like, where David at? He went here yesterday or today, right? And Jonathan's answer, Saul, David earnestly asked to leave of me to go to Bethlehem. So Jonathan is covering for David right now, right? He trying to cover for him. And he said, verse 29, and he said, let me go, I pray thee, for our family have a sacrifice in the city. And my brother, he hath commanded me to be there. And now, if I have found favor in thine eyes, let me get away, I pray thee, and see my brethren. Therefore, he cometh not unto the king's table. So he like, what? David had to go see his people over there in Bethlehem. That's why he ain't here, right? Verse 30. So then Saul's anger was kindled against Jonathan, and he said unto him, thou son of a perverse, rebellious woman, you son of a bee, right? Because he know his son trying to take up for David. He said, do not I know that thou hast chosen the son of Jesse to thine own confusion and unto the confusion of thy mother's nakedness? Right? He said, for as a long, so he like, I know you trying to cover for this brother. I know you trying to cover. He didn't say, bro, he probably like this nigga, right? This Negro. Verse 31, for as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the ground, thou shalt not be established, nor thy king. Because you got to keep in mind, Jonathan was heir to the throne. Jonathan was up next to be the king, right? He risking it all right now for his friendship. He risking it for his brother, right? His dad just told him, look, as long as this Negro alive, you ain't gonna be king. Now, a regular dude, a person that wasn't a good friend, would have heard that and said, I know where he at. I'm gonna tell him to be here, and then you can just be. But just Jonathan ain't like that, right? So he said, for as long as the son of Jesse liveth upon the ground, thou shalt not be established, nor thy kingdom. Wherefore now send and fetch him unto me, for he shall surely die. So he like, you better go get that Negro, or because he gonna die. And Jonathan answered Saul his father and said unto him, wherefore shall he be slain? What have he done? What you killing him for? He ain't did nothing. And Saul cast a javelin at him to smite him, whereby Jonathan knew that it was determined of his father to slay David. So he threw a javelin at his own child. That's how mad he is at David. So David was right. The advice that he gave Jonathan, he like, look, if you keep trying to cover for me, they gonna know that you looking out for that your dad ain't crazy, right? Verse 34. So Jonathan arose from the table in fierce anger and did eat no meat the second day of the month, for he was grieved for David because his father had done him shame. So he got up and left, man. He didn't like that his father was doing what he was doing, right? So he showed what kind of friend he really was in that moment. He could have said, nah, I want to be king. I don't want to lose my estate. I don't want to be into it with my parent. He didn't put none of it. If it's he like, look, my daddy wrong. My brother ain't did nothing wrong. I'm finna stand up for my brother. Right? So let's go to the book Sirach. So that's an example of a good friendship, the way that Jonathan and David was towards each other. Sirach 6 and verse 14. It says, a faithful friend is a strong defense. Ain't that what Jonathan was? How he protected David, his friend. He was a strong defense. It says, and he that have found such a one have found a treasure, man. You can't put no price on a good friend. You can't put no nothing on that. Said a faithful friend, nothing to countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable, right? You can't put no value on a faithful friend, somebody that's gonna be there with you thick and thin, right? With the highs, with the lows, they gonna be there. It ain't even up for question. It ain't even up. We ain't even gotta talk about it. I know bro gonna be here. If I'm wrong, he gonna tell me, right? I ain't gotta worry about it, right? Let's go to Proverbs 17. So that's a good friend right there. Let's go to Proverbs 17 and chapter 17. I mean, verse 17, Salaki. It say, a friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity. So that's why I say, just because somebody call you or text you and be like, hey, just checking on you, that's not the measure of a friend. A friend is known is for when you going through it. It's for this right here. It's for adversity, right? That's what a friend is for. Let's look up adversity. It says difficulties, misfortunes. All right. That's when you know you got a real friend. You understand? That's what a friend is for. A friend loveth at all times, not just when you up, right? And a brother is born for adversity. That's the reason why you should be friends, to be there for that person when they going through it, when they not at their best, right? Let's go to chapter 18. Chapter 18 and verse 24. It says, a man that have friends must show himself friendly. And there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother, man. You got people who came in the truth and lost family, lost siblings. They ain't close with siblings no more. But you can meet some people in this truth, man, that will literally replace those people in a sense that you won't even miss it. You understand? Because you got a friend right here that's closer than you and your brother ever was. You understand? So it say to have that, you gotta be that. That's the other side. To have something like that, you gotta be that. A lot of times, sometimes it don't work like that, man. Sometimes you do your part and then you get in a tough spot and that person ain't there for you. Unfortunately, sometimes it work like that, but most it should go like this. If you want to at least give yourself a chance at having a friend that's closer than a brother, then you got to be like that yourself, right? You get out, you get in what you put out, in other words, right? So let's go to Psalms chapter 141 and verse 5. How to be a good friend. It say, let the righteous smite me, right? It shall be a kindness, and let him reprove me. It shall be an excellent oil, which shall not break my head, for yet my prayer also shall be in their calamities. Right. So it's a job as a good friend to what? Correct your brothers and sisters. A friendship ain't supposed to always be smooth and good. It's about correcting each other. It's about keeping each other on point. You shouldn't want to be friends with the person who don't never correct you, right? You shouldn't want to be that person's friend, because guess what? That's not your friend. That's not your friend at all. If that person see you going off and they ain't saying nothing, they probably just waiting on you to embarrass yourself. They're probably just waiting on you to fall so that they can get what you got. You know what I'm saying? But David said, nah, let the righteous smite me. I want the righteous to smite me, to cut me up with these scriptures, to correct me, because that's gonna make you what? It's gonna make you better, right? Let's go to the book of Sirach. Let's go back to Sirach chapter 6 and verse 17. It say who, let me pull it up. It say, whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. So you don't fear the Lord if you got a friend, somebody that you call your friend, and you sit here, man, this nigga going off. Man, nigga here, but he don't never damn. But look at his household, man. If you sitting there calling yourself somebody that a friend, and you sitting there and you see them doing something wrong, or you see them going the wrong way, and you not correcting them, you don't fear the Lord. You don't fear the Lord, right? It say, whoso feareth the Lord shall direct his friendship aright. For as he is, so shall his neighbor be also. You want your friend to be on point too, right? Not just say, man, this Negro here wrong as hell. He wicked as hell. I'm gonna just let him destroy itself, and I'm gonna go over here. Nah, it don't work like that. That's not how you be a good friend, man. All right, so let's go to Acts. You gotta direct your friendships right to be a good friend. You gotta correct each other, right? It ain't gonna feel good to your emotions, but it's gonna feel good to your spirit, right? If you in the spirit, you gonna know, hey, this person correcting me because they love me. They trying to see me get the kingdom, right? Let's go to Acts 15. Acts 15, we're gonna start at verse 35. Right? It said Paul also and Barnabas continued to Antioch. Right? So Paul and Barnabas was like this, close friends, right? Now watch this. It say teaching and preaching the word of the Lord with many others also. And some days after, Paul said unto Barnabas, let us go again and visit our brethren in every city where we have preached the word of the Lord and see how they do. So Paul like, hey man, we done been pushing this word in quite a few places. Let's go back to some of the places we done been and check on them brothers who we done talked to. Right? Verse 37, and Barnabas determined to take with them John, because John was his cousin, right? Whose surname was Mark. So Barnabas wanted to take Mark with them, right? Verse 38. But Paul thought not good to take him with them. So Paul, like, I don't want to take him. Why? Who departed from them from Pamphylia and went not with them to the work. So Paul was like, look, I don't want to bring this Negro with us because last time we was out doing the work, he left. He didn't stick with us. I don't want nobody with us like that. So all right, so Barnabas, this his cousin. So he might be a little biased in that way, right? In that sense. But watch what happened. It said verse 39, and the contention was so sharp between them that they departed asunder one from the other. And so Barnabas took Mark and sailed unto Cyprus, and Paul chose Silas and departed, being recommended by the brethren unto the grace of Yahweh. And he went through Syria, Cilicia, confirming the churches, right? So they went their separate ways. They got in an argument, right? So like I say, in a friendship, it ain't gonna always be smooth, creamy, and smooth as butter. Sometimes you gonna butt heads, right? But why? So this chapter 15, right? We're gonna go to First Corinthians now. Watch this. Let's go to First Corinthians. So this at chapter 15. Let's go to First Corinthians chapter 9 and verse 3. It's a mine answer to them that do examine me is this: have we not power to eat and to drink? Have we not power to lead about a sister, a wife, as well as the other apostles, and as the brethren of the Lord and Cephas? Or I only and Barnabas, right? Have not we power to forbear working, right? So the point in this is that you see he's speaking about him and Barnabas together, or I and Barnabas. When Paul wrote Corinthians, this was in like Acts chapter, I want to say 19, right? At 18, when he wrote to the Corinthians, when he was in the land of Corinth, he had done went through Antioch, Syria, Galatia, Pamphylia. He had done went through all that by the time he went and wrote to the people in Corinth. So what? They got in that heated contention in chapter 15. This was years down the road. by the time they reconciled or was able to work again together, right? Sometimes it be like that, but what you gotta understand is you're not gonna always see eye to eye, but as brothers and sisters, you have to endeavor to keep that friendship, right? You have to endeavor, brothers sometimes go different ways because of doctrines, right? But the real measure, like I said, the real measure of that friendship is are y'all there for each other when y'all need somebody, right? So Paul and Barnabas had a contention, but they later came back together and was able to work again together, right? Let's go to Colossians. So sometimes it be like that, you know. Colossians chapter 3 and verse 13. It says what? Forbearing one another and forgiving one another. Cause you ain't gonna always be everybody cup of tea. Your wife might be the only one who like them jokes you tell, man. But to the other brothers and sisters, you get on their nerves. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it might be like that, but it ain't saying that you gotta necessarily be best friends with every brother and sister in this truth, but you should be able to be a good friend, right? If they need you, you should be there for that person. You should forgive that person. Bear with each other because you do stuff, I do stuff that it ain't gonna be everybody's favorite, right? It says, if any man have quarrel against any, even as Hamashiach forgave you, so also do ye. You gotta forgive each other, right? Forgive each other. Verse 14, I like that too. It saying, above all these things, put on charity, be considerate of one another. Because why? Which is the bond of perfectness. Being considerate, it'll make that bond stronger. You understand? And make us all reach to perfection. Right? So let's go to Ephesians. Last scripture. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 3. Right? It says, endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. So, to endeavor is to fight, do everything in your power, right? Do everything that you can to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. Not just soon as something happen, I'm going my own way. I don't like y'all brothers no more. Nah, that's not how you be a good friend. A good friend is gonna do whatever they can to keep the unity of the spirit and the bond of peace. All right. So most high willing, y'all got something out of this class. How to be a good friend, man. My heart's desire is that everybody in this truth can have somebody that they can call a good friend, and that everybody can be a good friend to somebody. All right. It's Brother Nashan, New Wine Congregation of Israel. All right. All honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh Shemi Shah. Shalom, y'all.